back in the woods.
Okay guys, I'm Dave Canterbury from the Pathfinder School, back with another video in our trapping series. Like I said, I'm shooting some of these videos out of order, trying to get things done as I'm doing them. I've got to wax some of these traps. Again, the reason that you wax and dye your traps, or dye and then wax your traps, the dye helps protect them from rust. It also helps to camouflage the steel. Animals don't like shiny objects. The other side of that coin is you wax the trap to help lubricate it, number one. Number two, to help keep it from freezing up in winter weather. So traps that you're going to use on land, you would wax. Traps that you're going to use on water, you don't necessarily have to wax. You never wax a conibear. They're fast and slippery enough as it is, easy enough to get your hand hung up in one of them things. You should always use a tool to set them, and you never wax a conibear. So I'm going to wax some leg hold traps today that I'm planning on using at the Trappers College in a couple weeks, and also on the new school property that we have, and we're going to start doing some trapping series on that this winter. So I'm prepping my traps now. That's part of the game, is getting ready for trapping season. I have a metal trash can here, 10-gallon trash can. Water's boiling in it now. I have 5 pounds of trap wax right here, and I'm going to cut this up and melt it into the water, and that's what we're going to use to dip our traps in here in just a few minutes. So I'll walk you through that as we go. First thing we need to do is break this up a little bit. I'll just use my axe to break this a little bit over a stump, put it in the water to melt. We'll show you what that looks like when we're done. What we want is a film of wax floating on the top of the water when it melts down. So you can see some of that wax floating around in there. Try to get you a better look at that. And when that's melted on the surface of the water, we're going to dip our traps in that. Okay, so I've taken this stick now and stirred up my water and my wax, and it's got a waxy residue on it. So I know there's enough wax in that water now to start dipping traps. So at this point, all I'm going to do is start taking my traps one at a time, dipping them into the water, flushing them around a little bit, and pull them out. And then I'm going to hang them up over here, just like this. Okay, so, all right, so our traps have been sitting here drying for a little bit now, and you can see there's a waxy film on that trap, and what that does is that helps to lubricate and protect it. It also helps to keep it from freezing up when it's underground in the wintertime, and it also makes the trap faster. And that's part of the reason you don't want to wax a conibear. They're plenty fast enough as it is. And like I said, anytime you're setting a conibear type trap, unless it's a 110, you need to use a tool. 220s, 330s, you really need to use a setting tool for those. We'll get into that later when we talk about conibear traps. But these are leg hold traps that I'm planning on using for land sets for fur bearers at the Trappers College next month. So I want to make sure I got all of those waxed. I've got well over a dozen traps waxed and ready to go here. Okay guys, well I'm Dave Canterbury at the Pathfinder School. It's a very simple process. It doesn't require a lengthy video. I took a 10-gallon galvanized container straight from Tractor Supply, heated it up with about 5 gallons of water, maybe 4 gallons, something like that. Added enough beeswax to the water that it melted upon boiling, and then checked it with a stick to make sure it was leaving a waxy residue on the stick, and begun to dip my traps, and then I'm hanging them out on these J-hooks to dry after they've been dyed. So pretty simple. Like I said, one last time, never wax a conibear, and you only really need to wax traps that you're going to use for land sets. Water set traps, leg holds, things like that do not really need to be waxed. They're going to be underwater. They're probably not going to freeze unless they're in very shallow water. So that's just a quick tip or trick. Part of our trapping series is prepping our traps. We've already dyed them. Now we've waxed them. I'm Dave Canterbury at the Pathfinder School. I appreciate your views. I appreciate your support. I'll be back with another video as soon as I can, and I thank you for everything that you do for myself, my family, and my school.